if you are Igbo here, you should understand how ridiculously disgusting this attitude is, and how people don't say this kind of things in the north, but it's going to stop in the west very soon. And this is what this clown says. It says this silly host narrative must stop. Lagos is not hosting anybody. Lagos is a commercial hub of Nigeria. Nobody that came here lives in a house for free. Any Nigerian has the right to freely live and make an impact where they want within the Nigerian states. The Lagos state government does not dish out souvenirs to non-Lagosians just because they are in Lagos. What exactly does your host mean? We have more Yorubas in Abuja currently making policies that affect Abuja indigents and the entire nation. Why Abuja indigents never pursue them? So let me tell you something. You can't move like this in a place like Nigeria and you will not fall. If you're looking for the reason people don't trust certain people with power, this is one of the reasons. Do you know, if you have no political power and you're talking like this and you're moving mad like this, what do you think will happen when you have if you have political power? Which brings me to the bill that was discussed on the floor of the House of Representatives last week, when they were talking about rotational presidency. You know, that people should feel a sense of belonging. You should move from one state to another. It will not happen. Well, it was shut down right there. See, if you think people are doing something to certain people because of the past, you are wrong. So there are two things we have to be very, very mindful of in Nigeria. One is history. The other one is news. The sad part is that with certain people, the history and the news are one and the same. And what has stopped certain people in history is also what is going to stop them in the present, because they've not learned anything from history. So the news about them happening right now is exactly what their elders did. Can you imagine somebody telling you that certain people walked the streets of Kaduna to insult the owners of the land, and you say it's a lie? It's not possible now. It's not. You say, possible. How can you go to Kaduna or Kano and be telling the people of that land that, we own Nigeria together? Iransi has done it. When we discuss history, people say you hate. It's not hate. I'm showing you what happens today. Tell me the difference between what this clown said and what the Igbo people said on the streets of Kaduna in 1966. Not one difference. It's a mindset, it's a culture, and it's a culture that usually ends people in trouble. How come people don't learn from the past? History does not repeat itself. It's foolish people who repeat history, especially the bad part of history. How can a person say this in 2025? What do you mean, host? Are you giving us anything for free? Are you supposed to get anything for free? Why don't they say this thing in the north? You know why? Because of the 60s. That's why. And am I praying for something like that to happen in the south? Of course not. Of course not. But you see, sincerely, when I say it, I always say I don't like telling some people's history. It sounds like insult. The truth is, even the present sounds like insult. How do you move around? And by the way, this is not just about, I can go anywhere in Nigeria. It happens in Ghana as well. You cannot choose to be retarded or choose to plateau as far as evolution is concerned, and then expect people to live with that culture that you possess, that say, I can just move anywhere. Even gypsies understand how to move. And you know what? Folks should be grateful. This culture is sincerely underdeveloped. See, I'm not throwing shades, but I'm telling you this. You have the mindset of a nomad, and you assume that everything is yours by right, just because you're a citizen. And it's not just because of Nigeria. It happens also in Ghana. That's the one. Once I saw that Ghanaian news, and it wasn't once, wasn't twice, wasn't three times, over and over again, I was like, this thing is not about Nigeria. You say Lagos is, by the way, if you are a Lagosian, listen to this. So I don't care if you are really a Lagosian and you hear that certain things are not working in your state, the way you would react will show whether you're a Lagosian or you're just one person that was dropped there and nobody knows where you're supposed to be in your life. Because if you're really from that place, listen, there is an attitude you have towards your city. Even if you were not from there okay, so I'm not from Lagos. I'm proud to be from Ife. I'm so proud of it. I didn't even grow up in Lagos. I went to Lagos, just used to go there for holidays. But there is a thing about when I hear something happening there and all of that, you can acknowledge certain things, but there's a way you will say it. Even when you're throwing jabs at a Lagos person, like, living in Lagos, or let's say, for instance, whenever they visit Abuja and they were having conversations, you hear things like, oh, the traffic in Pombe, and then we know it's easier to move around. There are many access roads in Abuja, and truly, there are many access roads in Abuja. We can, banter. There are lines you don't cross, and that line is a line of respect. And if you're from a place where they don't teach you respect, they will teach you from outside. And the way it is taught outside is usually violent, which is what happened in the north. It's what happened in the north, and it's also similar to what happened at the elections, but that's not it. You said Igbos kill over 600. Why are you lies against who pay you? Did I say 600? That's just in Onitsha. I remember what you are talking about. You guys, you don't understand that your people are as terrible as other people that you're insulting. You think you are saints? Do you know how many Northerners were unalived by your people? Why do you guys hate the truth so much? Oh no, you did not do anything to anybody. You were just there. They were just beating you. Your elders have done you terrible things. You guys don't understand how terrible it is. They've baptized you in victimhood. And the crazy part is that they did two things for you that I wonder how they did it. I spent time thinking about it. I think I shared it here some time ago. I spent time thinking about it. How did Azikiwe pull this off? And then Ojukwu also did the same thing. And Nnamdi Kanu is doing the same thing. And Ekpa too. Even Wazirike did the same thing. How did they pull it off? I wondered. Even in this man's last book, final book, there was a country, Chinua Achebe, he did the same thing. How do you do that kind of thing? When on one hand, you are bigger than everybody. On the other hand, you're the victim of everybody. How sincerely I respect Azikiwe for laying that foundation, because that's what propagandists do, and that's wonderful. I'm not going to lie. I respect him for that. You are the conqueror of everybody, but you are the victim of everybody. And you don't understand that those two things are mutually exclusive, but somehow you manage to put them together and believe it and pass it on to generations. You are holding two things. You are moving around saying things like, oh, I can move anywhere. Am I not a Nigerian? Are you not a human being? Do you not understand the concept of ownership? Do you allow your own relatives to just move around in your own house? Do you not know what it means to own something? Are you bereft of ideas as a culture? Listen, if you are Igbo and you're listening to me and not like that, listen to me. I understand there are people like you, but I can assure you two things. Number one, you are one of the very, very tiny minority. Number two, you guys don't say anything. The most stupid things will come out of your region. You will not speak nothing. You are as quiet as whatever. You just calm down. You're just quiet. So it's difficult for you to tell people that, oh, but we're not all like that. The ones who are not like that, two things. Number one, they are very few. Number two, they rarely talk. In other words, you don't mind people doing terrible things outside. If it benefits you, you take advantage of it. If it doesn't, you just move your face and say, but we're not all like that. How many times you just go online and see people say things like, don't talk like this, you're in another person's land? If it's our own land, how are we going to behave? Let's say Fulani is saying the same thing about Enugu. What are we going to do? I mean, if I were, let's say I'm an Igbo man, for instance, and I live in Enugu, and a Fulani man just comes, moves anyhow, of course I'm going to react. Of course, because it's my space. You guys think like nomads. You can just move anyhow, and when you get to those places, those people have no right, because guess what? We are all in Nigeria. We're not all in Nigeria to be stupid. We're all in Nigeria to build ourselves and grow and thrive and take care of the place. And let me say something. If Lagos smells, Lagos that is smelling is not, the space is not smelling by itself. Whatever smell you encounter at Olusosun, for instance, is a product of Lagosians. You don't understand Moju and Mara. You cannot, when you're not raised to, like, all of us, I mean, if you have kids, you probably raise your children so that you can look at them somehow and they get the message. These ones, even if you talk, they don't listen. And you will not find the so-called minority smart ones who will be able to even caution this deranged majority, like, stop, nobody talks, everybody just watches, because may not be like say, what's the meaning of may not be like say? May not, so they don't call you tribalist.